Hey guys, so today I did this makeup look on my friend. She was going to her friend's wedding and she wanted like a classic, neutral, sort of smoky, subtle smoky eye. So we started off by adding professional. This will just help really keep the makeup intact, but also it just helps blur out the skin and give it that sort of flawless blurred look. Then I added this Smashbox on other areas of the face other than the pore area, so like around the forehead. Here I'm doing some color correction, so I used the green color from the Makeup Forever palette and added it to areas where I saw some redness. And on top of that I've added the Pro Longwear concealer just over it to balance out the green and sort of conceal those areas as well. And I used a damp beauty blender to blend everything out. You don't want to blend too much. I realized when you blend too much it just pretty much disappears, so all your hard work will be gone. So you don't need to blend out too much when you're doing color correction, because when you put the foundation over on top of it anyway, that should do the trick. Now I added a bit more concealer because I realized I blended it out a bit too much, so I had to top it up a bit more and blended those out a bit as well. Next I'm adding the foundation. On her we used the Makeup Forever foundation, just the original one, and I sort of dot it around the face first to give it more of an even finish, and then I use the beauty blender just to blend everything out. That way I'm not covering like one area more than the other, so I'm distributing it evenly around the face. What I like about using the beauty blender is it gives a really natural finish. We wanted slightly more coverage, so I added a bit more, so another layer on top of the one layer that we did. And now I'm using the Urban Decay matte eye primer. I love this just to balance out the eyes. You see the eyes, eyelids do have a slight color to it, so you want to add something, even if you just use concealer, to sort of balance them out, and this will ensure the eyeshadow actually stays on all day, and I don't know, when you blend it, it makes it look much better, like the colors are more vivid. Now I'm using the Anastasia Brow Wiz, which was hers, just to fill in their brows a little bit. They were quite her eyebrows are not that sparse anyway, so I didn't have to fill it in that much. It was more about evening it out basically. And then to tidy things up, I add a bit of concealer, like about 2 shades lighter than her skin tone, or even 3, below and above the eyebrow. That will just sort of give the eyebrows a lift, which looks really nice, and it also just makes everything look neat. You can use any like small fluffy brush to blend it all out, from above and below the brows, because you don't want any lines over there. It will look really funny, so just make sure you blend everything out when you're doing this step. Next, for the eyeshadow, I'm using Rice Paper by MAC. There is hardly anything left. I love this eyeshadow. I remember there was a point where I was using it every day. It's a really nice shimmer tone, really good for like yellow based skin tones like hers. So I use that in the inner corners and sort of extending it out in the middle, and this will just give a really nice highlights and pop of color to the eyes. With the other eyeshadows, I'm mainly using the Morphe palette. See, I use the mid-tone brown with a slight red tint to it, sorry. And yeah, I'm using that in the outer corners and sort of blending it outwards, like that, if you can see. And this just added a really nice flush of color. It's a nice transition shade as well, so it will just help blend in all the other darker colors in better. And then I changed over and used like a smaller brush and used the color next to it, which is slightly darker, so it's a darker brown, in the outer corners, and very carefully extending it out. You don't want to extend it out too much, because it is a darker color. So just a little bit, and in between the steps I always blend it out as well, just so it doesn't look too harsh or anything. And I'm going to repeat this process about 3 times. So I'm adding the darker color again, extending it out and blending everything in so everything looks nice and seamless. So the first lighter color rice paper that we used did slightly sort of blend out. I wanted to make it look more pigmented, so I added another layer, just because when you are doing the blending and stuff, some of it can come out. Anyway, next I used the Rimmel gel liner to line her eyes. So I did the top and I've just extended it out to create a small flick, so to give it that cat eye effect. And at the bottom I just used black eyeshadow from Urban Decay and extended it out to just to complete the look. Not all the way, because she didn't want it all the way, just because if you do extend it out all the way it will look quite harsh. And I'm just color correcting with the red tone, peachy tone concealer, sorry, under the eyes, just to color correct everything. And then we used the NARS creamy concealer to highlight areas of the face that need highlighting. She looks really funny here. And of course I'm using my beauty blender just to blend everything in. You want to make sure you blend really well, especially with the highlighter concealer, sorry, just because you don't want any lines or streaks, especially after you set it, they can really show. So just make sure you blend everything out really well. And next we just use some Demi Wispies by Ardell for lashes. She already had really long lashes, so we didn't want to add like really thick dramatic ones. And then on top of those, what I did instead of using thick lashes is just add a bit more of the individuals by Adele as well. And what this does, it gives a really nice sort of fluttery effect, without like having so much eyelashes, if that makes sense. So it looks a bit more natural and more fuller as well, because the Demi Wispies are quite thin, so I do like to add just a few more individual lashes on top as well. Okay, now my favorite part, the contouring. I used the Tom Ford cream contour kit on her because the color was really nice, went really well with her skin tone. It was quite a soft color, it's not like too orangey or too brown. Um, and I just used this Real Techniques contour brush, I think it is, just to blend everything out and yeah, give her more structure to the face. Remember, always do it under the jawline as well, just to balance everything out. Setting powder, sorry, just to set those areas under the eyes, like all the areas that you highlighted. Basically, you want to set them with this light powder just to make everything look more highlighted and to keep everything intact, which is the main thing because we want this look to last all day long. Then on top of that, I used the Smashbox contour palette just to add a bit of the bronze shade on to warm up the skin and to make everything look balanced and blended out as well. I use a small angled brush to sort of contour the nose as well, just to make the nose look more slimmer. I love doing this step. We chose Peaches by MAC to add a bit of colour. When you are using neutral colours, it's important to add a bit of colour, even just to the cheeks and lips. So this was a really nice peachy colour. It just gave her cheeks a lift and a really nice like peachy glow. And of course the look is not complete without some highlighter, so we use Soft and Gentle by MAC, and I used a fan brush just to give more of like a natural glow to the cheeks and for the bridge of the nose. We used this Rimmel pencil, I think it was Cappuccino, the name of the pencil, to outline the lips. And then I use Velvet Teddy by MAC to give a really nice matte nude finish to the lips. And this is the finished look, guys. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.